Hi, and good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Alex Bayen. I'm the new director of CITRIS. I'm really excited to be here. This is my first time in person with all of you after COVID. It's been a really exciting symposium. I've been really impressed with everything I've seen. I think that what's striking about the mission of CITRIS is that health intersects with everything we do. And it's not just the research initiatives, it's also our processes. Obviously, the research initiatives, and many of you have been exposed to them, aviation, climate, health is actually an initiative, policy, have obvious huge intersections of overlap. But also if you think about what we do with the SEED grant program, what we do with the Foundry, what we do with the Workforce Innovation Program, in some ways it's everywhere. And I think what speaks to the value of that work here is that at CITRIS, we both care about the application domain, which health is one of them, but all the others also intersecting with health, but also the technology that is an essential and core part of it. And so in the past work of this group, I think there have been a lot of examples where this has been really important, because being at the intersection of both is where we can provide value. For example, in the Activate program, the barriers in digital health, the digital part is an important and integral part of what we do in the technology inception part of our work, but then the bridge to society is maybe debatable if it's not accessible. And same with another program, the Lighthouse for older adults, where essentially there we help with alleviating barriers in the technology use. And so that brings me back to the examples that Chancellor May gave this morning. Chancellor May gave the commencement address at Berkeley in 2018, if I remember correctly. He used some of the same examples, and I'd like to replay these examples by you in light of the previous ones to show you where we can really provide value. So today we heard about the example of car crashes, and essentially the dummies being modeled after males and therefore heavier, and therefore the lack of protection that female will have in car accidents. Another example that Chancellor May gave during his commencement address, if I remember, is the example of early versions of Alexa, so speech recognitions, which were solely trained with voices of males, and therefore had a difficulty in the parsing of the language spoken by women. The interesting thing we heard today was particularly striking in terms of the time lapse. So the example that Gary gave in 2018 was soap dispensers, which as an African-American with a skin color created problems because of the photoelectric cell that was not trained for it. That's an electronic or an electric or device problem, something technology that goes back to the 90s. But the example that he gave here this morning, that was an image recognition problem, something that is based on deep learning. And if you think of the genesis of deep learning and its spike, this is 2015 when it started, and the hype of it was 17, 18, 19. That means essentially we have not learned of our lesson, because that happened in the 90s when this happened with the hardware technology, and still, in some ways, the engineering world is committing the same mistakes. And that's why I think the mission of this group is very important, because at CITRIS, we are the bridge between technology and society, and we can make sure that these glitches of technology that happens for all of these reasons don't happen again. And so we really have a lot of work to do, and so I'm really grateful to be able to be part of this community and to support this community and its mission, and I really look forward to many future events.